Joining me now is Congresswoman Madeline Dean. Congresswoman, I appreciate you coming on today.
Thanks for having me, Brittany.
The House Judiciary Committee held a field hearing in New York City Monday on the victims of violent crimes in Manhattan. During the hearing, you said it was hypocritical that the House Judiciary Committee was there. Can you explain why you felt that way and what you meant?
Well, let me say, number one, thanks for inviting me for this important conversation. And I want to lift up the victims and the families who sat before us. Their stories, their pain is real and important. Their losses are soul crushing. So in no way is my criticism of this field hearing any reflection on them. We in Congress must do everything we possibly can to help the survivors of violent crime, the victims of violent crime, lift up families, particularly families who have lost a loved one. As for the hearing, this was a hearing of the Judiciary Committee, and it was a field hearing in Manhattan. We had no reason to be there. We have no jurisdiction. The purpose of the hearing from the Republican side, from the chairman, was an attempt to intimidate District Attorney Bragg. District Attorney Bragg is the district attorney for the Manhattan District, and he is operating, of course, under state law. We are the federal arm of government. So we had no jurisdiction there. It was a thinly veiled attempt to try to obstruct his investigation and now indictment of the former president. So I'm sorry that those victims' voices had to be used in that way. As I said, I will take with me their hurt, their pain, their loss, and their plea for justice.
I want to break that down. Before the hearing, Congressman Jim Jordan was actually on Fox and Friends, and during that appearance, he said that he would be holding these types of field hearings throughout various cities around the country. Would you think that would be a political stunt as well, and would you participate in future hearings?
I will debate each one case by case, to be very honest. Here's part of the problem. If you really want to investigate serious crime, we don't have to leave our district. We don't have to leave Washington. Any one of us can bring information back. And of course, why I thought it was hypocritical is you notice that nowhere is there any plea to do something about the daily slaughter in America. We're going to lose more than 40,000 people to gun violence this year. No other civilized nation suffers at this extraordinary slaughter rate. The other problem with this hearing was they put forward false facts. They put forward facts of homicide being up, rape being up in Manhattan, we're talking about here. The data, the facts, and the statistics show the exact opposite, that in Manhattan, actually, violent crime is down, homicides down. So Mr. Jordan might want to take this circus on the road. I don't think it will reflect well on him. I don't think it reflects well on this majority because, as I said in the hearing, they're not seriously trying to solve the problems that America faces. We are all fearful around the issue of gun violence, and yet they didn't want to touch the issue of gun violence. So he may take it on the road. He may take it to, as they call, other Democrat cities. That's not serious. It's not a serious approach, and that's why I quoted Logan Roy from Succession.
I did catch the Succession reference there, and it sounds like, you point blank said this was an intimidation tactic against Manhattan District Attorney Bragg, and Jerry Nadler said that this is doing the bidding of Donald Trump. But I do want to point to something Chairman Jim Jordan said. He said, quote, "Here in Manhattan, the scales of justice are weighed down by politics, and that the DA is, quote, looking for opportunities to advance a political agenda." What's your reaction to his assessment there?
It's a false assessment, number one. And again, he is serving in a federal seat. The district attorney is a duly elected state representative. By that, I mean he has to uphold state statutes. So it's always that deflection. It's been a mastery of that, although I shouldn't use the word mastery. It's been just an overuse of deflection. We were there, we were dragged there as a political stunt to do the bidding of a failed, twice impeached president. a very corrupt person who is now trying to use the Judiciary Committee to shield him from prosecution. We have something called the rule of law. That's why I really begged to be on judiciary when I was first elected. And I was able to serve these last, I'm now in my third term on judiciary, to uphold the rule of law. That's not what we were doing yesterday. That was an obstruction, intimidation tactic. I don't think District Attorney Bragg was impressed.